Marvel Avengers. Is it worth a buy, guys? Well, let's read the words of the developer, and then I'll tell you what I think. Marvel Avengers is an epic third-person action-adventure game that combines an original cinematic story with single-player and cooperative gameplay. Assemble into a team of up to 4 players online, customize a growing roster of heroes, and defend the Earth from escalating threats. I just want to start, guys, by saying thank you to Square Enix for providing me with a key for this game. They provided me with the deluxe edition so I could get in early to get this review out. So a big thank you to them. I really do appreciate it. Let's start with the settings, guys. This was tested on a 1070 and a 2080. On 2080 I had everything on max and it ran well till the last mission of the campaign when it all stuttered and I had to reboot my PC. It was just getting down to 7 frames a second. The 1070 had everything turned right down, not all the way down to the bottom, but it ran well. It ran absolutely fine all the way through. The graphics look great, the sound is great. I've got no problems with any of them. So I just want to move on. I'm rushing through these bits because there's a lot to talk about here. The campaign you play is all of the Avengers. It just keeps chopping and changing between them, which gets confusing when you forget what powers they all have again. So I didn't like that. But you're mainly playing the protagonist, which is this Kamala girl who turns into Miss Marvel. And the idea is she's a little teenager visiting an Avengers convention. A big explosion happens, the Avengers are blamed, the Avengers disband, they go into hiding. The side effects of this explosion are people get mutated with powers, and Kamala herself becomes Mrs. Stretchy, Miss Marvel, although she's not really Miss Marvel at the time. She's just a teenager with problems. 5 years pass and she finds this clue. She's a bit of a nerd on the computer. She finds a clue about what really happened that day and she goes investigating, and that's when she runs into Bruce Banner. They then take a car ride together and almost get this channel banned.
Yeah, it's a console game. A console game. Upgrade.
And then they find Tony Stark, and I mean, it's not really quite the way it happens, but that's kind of setting it up. I won't tell you any more because I don't want to give you any spoilers, but you'll have big boss fights which are very, very lackluster and boring. You might as well have been fighting a giant banana in the boss fights, because all you do is look for the little glowy things and spam your attacks on them till the glowy things explode and then the boss is down. The combat is very spammy, guys. For example, you have light attack and heavy attack, and whether you spam it or hold it down will give you completely different abilities. Whether you're in the air or on the ground, again, will give you different abilities, but it's all about the same, either spamming it or holding it down. The only bit that gets really tricky with it is the dodge or block. The enemy will telegraph whether they're going to hit you with a blockable or a dodge. For example, if they have a circle around their attack that's red, you can't block that. You've got to quickly press dodge to get out the way of it. If it's a white or a yellow circle around them as they're attacking you, you know you can block that, so you've got to quickly press the block attack. And that can get very tricky because you have about half a second to press the right button. So it's not a game of skill, it's a game of reflexes, which I didn't really like. I would have much rather had a game of skill where you have to get your position right during the battle, be in the right place, maybe to hit them from flank attacks and that, and also aiming your weapon as skill. But the game does all of that for you, which is very, very disappointing. In fact, half the time in battle, the camera and the game just decide who they're going to attack despite what you're trying to attack. It's very, very wonky, janky, and it's clunky as guys. This game really is clunky. The amount of times I pressed a button and nothing happened, very, very clunky. And it's full of bugs, which I'll come to shortly. The combat is enhanced by your perks, your skill trees, if you like, and your gear. The skill trees, I like the skill trees. You've got your basic skill tree, but then you've got your specializing skill tree and your mastery skill tree, which gives you the biggest boosts to your power. I'm not going to go through them all, but you can see them on your screen. There are quite a few things you can spec into. I particularly like the rocket spec for Iron Man. I'm not saying it's the best spec, it probably isn't, but I had the most fun with the rockets as Iron Man. It was just great. Gear wise, you are just overwhelmed with gear from pretty much the first few missions. There's chests all over the place, there's drops all over the place. It's the RPG system of greens, blues, purples and oranges, but at the end of the day, guys, the gear is so small in increment that if you've already got epic or legendary, the next piece you get's just going to be so insignificant, unless the perks suit you better, that they're not even worth having. It just becomes busy work and a chore, and the vast majority of them you're just going to dismantle and use to boost other ones, because the ones you do get that you like, you can boost to make them a little bit more powerful, and these all go towards your gear score, which is very important for end game because you need certain gear scores to get into certain missions. There's faction rewards as well, which just are basically do a few daily quests and they will boost your faction, and that'll allow you to buy their kind of gear, which is basically the same as all the other gear. So it's all just bullshit. And do you know the worst thing about it? The gear makes you look no different at all. It's all invisible gear that you get. You get about 6 slots of it, and it makes no difference to how you look. That's all behind paywalls and grind walls, the cosmetics of this game, which I'll talk about in a second. But let's get to the bugs. This game is full of them. Absolutely disgrace that this game is a AAA expensive game, and it is just fraught with bugs. In fact, my girlfriend was playing the game in the same room as me at the same time. We were up to the same point all the way through the campaign, and she was getting a completely different set of bugs to me. She was getting stuck on ledges. She was trying to climb up. The game just had her stuck. She was doing a boss fight where she couldn't even see the boss. It had just vanished. I actually got a bug where I got 40 pieces of loot thrown at me. It was just hilarious. My whole bank got full of these level 43 crystals. It was just hilarious. I also had horrible frame rate bugs. She had 2 crashes to desktop. I never had a single crash to desktop. I had vanishing buttons, so I couldn't get off certain menus. She also had that. We had a plethora of bugs, guys. It's just buggy as this game. It really is. Now let's talk about endgame. The endgame is you finish the campaign and you've got this map where you can go and do multiplayer or co-op or single player missions, and you don't have to do multiplayer. You can have the rest of your single player sort of characters fill your team up, so the AI takes control of them, and the AI is pretty good, to be honest. In fact, the AI is very good with your characters. They res you if you fall, and they seem to do quite a good bit of damage, but they are based on the level you got them at with the gear you got them at. So I was taking mine into quite higher level battles, and they were all low level and they were just getting wrecked. So you have to go and level all of them up as well. The grind, guys, I can't express the grind in this game. It is the biggest grind I think I've ever seen in a video game, and I've played vanilla WoW. This game is just ridiculous, the grind. It's worse than, remember the Darth Vader grind in Star Wars Battlefront 2 when it came out? That's nothing compared to the grind for gear in this. I've played this 20 hours, guys, and I'm nowhere near being able to afford one piece of legendary gear. And that's off 20 hours. I mean, let's talk about the gear, the cosmetics. They're all behind a paywall, but you can, like I say, pick them up in game if you grind for goodness knows how long. It's ridiculous, the grind. But why would you want the cosmetic gear? Why would you want to do that? I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get this cosmetic thing at all. I like gear that's related directly to stats, but I'll come to that suggestion in a sec. You have hero challenge cards in this, which are like battle passes for every individual hero. And each battle card has like a tier system of 40 rewards. And you get these rewards by doing the daily and weekly quests. That's how you get points for this. And you get the reward that you're up to. You can see them going across the screen there. I'm not very far in. You can pay money to buy your way through that, because you can unlock each one with actual in-game currency, the credit system. Now credits are bought with real money. 1,000 credits is £10, so you can buy credits to unlock these faster, but you buy these cards with money in the first place, because you get these ones free with the game, but every new character that comes out you're going to pay £10 for their challenge card. So they're going to try and make a shit ton of money just giving you cosmetic items like this, and I don't see the point at all. And this is why, because the grind of endgame is the same mobs in the same order in the same maps doing the same thing. Literally, I've done loads of them. I mean, I'm 20 hours in. I've done 9 hours just in the actual multiplayer, doing various maps all over the different areas, and it's all the same. Yeah, I've done nothing new. I'm doing the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. It is as shallow as a puddle, guys. I've seen it all after 20 hours. There's nothing more for me to see in this. So why should I keep playing it?
Oh, to get better game, Mark, and unlock all the lovely cosmetics.
No, no thanks. Because what they should have done, and this is the irony, they're hoping they're going to make a fortune off this. Well, they probably will. It's 2020. Wouldn't it have been so much better if you didn't have that much gear through the campaign and all the gear made you look different? It was all the gear was not just invisible stats. It was actual cosmetics with the stats attached to it. So you had a chest piece that made you look different and had loads and loads of stats on it and made you look cool. Because then I would want to go and farm this kind of gear. Then I'd want to go out there and go into multiplayer matches and say, hey, look at this gear, look at this chest piece that I got. It's freaking awesome. It looks awesome because it is awesome. Have you seen the stats on it? But there's none of that in this game. It's all hidden. And the only cosmetics that you're going to see are these people who are spending a fucking fortune of their money.
Oh, £10, but look at this, I'm all sparkly and glittering. Look at me.
Oh, yeah, look at you. There's only one piece of cosmetic gear that I think's even worth even showing. And that's Black Widow's rubber outfit, guys. And you know what? I'm going to end on this bug. It's the best bug I've ever seen in a video game. I'm so pleased this bug is in the game. Because my camera bugged out and got stuck on Black Widow's arse. And all I could see as I walked around the game was Black Widow's rubbery arse. So there you go, guys. That's Marvel Avengers. If you're looking for a repetitive, boring game that makes you do the same thing over and over and over again, then this is the game for you. It certainly is. If you're a huge Avengers fan like me, well, if you're an old school fan like me, you're probably not going to like this. If you love the movies, then you're probably going to like this because the story is very much, it could have just been another Marvel movie. It's full of wisecracking bullshit where it's not needed. The cringe meter is probably going to get broken. It's so bad. So it just fits into the perfect kind of modern day bullshit movies that we get now, where nothing's taken seriously. No one takes movies seriously. The actors, the script writers, the directors, nobody takes. They're all embarrassed for the movie, and that's why they fill it full of fucking cringe and bad one-liners where they're not wanted, because it's a big embarrassment. That's movies today. They're not serious, and this game's pretty much straight out of that same mold. So there you go. It's not worth a buy.
Wait, aren't you gonna say the thing?
What?
You know, Avengers assemble.